Tenor Alexander Kravets has proven himself to be one of the most versatile opera performers of his generation. His name is familiar to many true fans of the opera worldwide and to professionals. He has worked as a guest soloist in United Kingdom, Germany, France, Italy, Belgium, the Netherlands, Austria, Switzerland, Spain and America. One of his most recent highlights became his debut at the Royal Opera House in London as chief police officer in a new production of the opera The Nose by Shostakovich, directed by Barrie Kosky. He performed this role many times before on such stages as the Berlin State Opera, the Komische Oper Berlin, the Lausanne Opera, the Dutch National Opera, the Opera de Lyon, the Aix-en-Provence Festival and the Metropolitan Opera in New York. At the Royal Opera House in Covent Garden, Alexander became a regular guest of the theatre in the course of subsequent seasons, having sung Tchaikovsky in The Queen of Spades and Cherubin in From the House of the Dead. A vast number of other parts performed by Alexander also includes Prince Nilsky in The Gambler for the Opera de Monte Carlo, Monostatos in Die Zauberflöte, the Magic Flute for the Teatro Massimo in Palermo, Astrologer in a new production of The Golden Cockerel for the Royal Theatre of La Monnaie in Brussels and the Teatro Real in Madrid. Alexander received the highest critical acclaim as the performer of the role of the drunken peasant in Lady Macbeth of the Mtsensk district by Shostakovich, staged at the Teatro alla Scala in Milan, Teatro Real in Madrid, the Teatro Reale di San Carlo in Naples, at the Dutch National Opera, at the Grand Theatre de Genève and the Opéra National de Paris. Among the brightest stage events in his creative biography are the role of Sharikov in the world premiere of the opera A Duck's Heart by Raskatov, and his participation in The Cunning Little Vixen both at the Dutch National Opera, Kedril in From the House of the Dead at the Teatro Real in Madrid, Monostatos in Die Zauberflöte at the Teatro La Fenice, Monsieur Truquet in Eugene Onegin and the Monostatos in the Zauberflöte at the Grand Theatre de Genève, Second Officer in Die Soldaten, the Soldiers at the Komische Oper Berlin, Selem in the Reichsprogress at the Deutsche Oper am Rhein in Düsseldorf, Spoletta in Tosca at the famous Bregenz Festival, Tchaikovsky in The Queen of Spades at the Teatro di San Carlo in Naples, and Claire Quilty in the Opera Lolita at the Prague National Opera. Alexander Kravets is regularly invited to La Monnaie in Brussels, and his most recent roles there were Duke in The Covetous Knight by Rachmaninoff, Rustighello in Lucrezia Borgia, and Trabucco in La Forza del Destino. A comparable strong collaboration he has enjoyed with the company of the Opera de Paris. His engagements there include Count Albert in Die Tote Stadt, the Dead City, and Sir Toldo Berardengo in Francesca da Rimini by Zandonai. It is also worth noting significant invitations to other famous Parisian scenes to perform Mozart in Mozart and Salieri at the Théâtre des Champs-Élysées, and as Papillon Trouvert in Re Orso at the Opera Comique. Alexander also performed at such venues as the Bavarian State Opera, the Bonn Theatre, the Opéra Royal de Wallonie, the Toulon Opera, the Angers-Nantes Opera, and the Teatro Comunale di Bologna. In the summer of 2018, he debuted at the famous Salzburg Festival with the role of Tchaikovsky in The Queen of Spades, conducted by Maris Janssens. Upcoming engagements of Alexander include his returns to the Royal Opera House in Covent Garden for Tosca and Madame Butterfly, to La Monnaie in Brussels and Prague National Opera, to the Salzburg Festival as Shuisky Boris Godunov, as well as his participation in War and Peace, the Grand Theatre de Genève, Ulysse in Inferno by Ronchetti at the Frankfurt Opera, and other interesting characters. Alexander Kravets has recently opened his own YouTube channel, not only with operas but also with the interesting, humorous scenes from the life of ordinary people. We can say new Mr. Bean to your attention. The recordings are certainly not professional, or let's say not all were made with a professional camera, but this is also his talent. A simple phone, completely alone on stage with a minimum amount of props, and I assure you with a good sense of humor. Within a short time, he has already performed well on the YouTube platform and is getting very good comments. I advise you to watch it, it's worth it. I am sure a slight smile will appear on your face. Let's hope that in a new comedy genre for him, he will also be able to achieve the same great success as in a professional opera.